Hi, my name is Brad Ward, and this is my presentation on Spycraft, how secret societies and covert government agencies transformed international relationships, 1500s to present. This presentation explores the secret societies and covert government agencies from the medieval times to today. What were they? Who were they? How did they form and operate? Which ones, if any, are still in existence today? To understand the early societies, one must understand that persecution of alternative spiritual beliefs like witchcraft and Christian heresies in medieval Europe forced groups underground to meet in secret. These societies were founded as a means to fight against religious influence over the public, proliferation of knowledge, superstition, and to safeguard the public against abuses of power. Two of the main secret societies formed in this period were the Freemasons and the Order of the Rosy Cross, or Rosicrucian Order. Both societies revealed themselves to the public in the 16th and 17th centuries. The Order of the Rosy Cross is still an alleged secret society with little publicity, unlike the Freemasons, which is known today as the Masons and are still active. The Masons have been accused of possibly corrupting influence in modern society due to its members including businessmen, police officers, and judges, which the fraternity denies. Freemasonry started as medieval guilds of craftsmen who built the Gothic cathedrals of Europe, which operated like modern trade unions. Members used secret handshakes, passwords, and symbols to recognize one another. Medieval associations of Freemasons may have been 700 plus members that contracted with the church to build cathedrals and monasteries. It was alleged some associations began using initiation ceremonies to grant entry to its members called Freemasons and eventually accepted outsiders if they met certain standards. Lodges were originally used to house out-of-town stonemasons working on large building projects. In 1717, four lodges revamped Freemasons were formed in England and spread across Europe, Russia, North Africa and the Mediterranean, India, West Indies, and the Americas in a few decades. Illuminati, which is plural for illuminatus in Latin, meaning enlightened. The Bavaria Illuminati were an Enlightenment-era society founded in May 1776. The Illuminati wanted to infiltrate the Freemasons to learn their ways. Many members were recruited from the Freemasons and remained members of both societies. Illuminati candidates were male Christians of good character, wealthy, docile, willing to learn, and between the ages of 18 and 30. Within 10 years, membership was estimated at 650, later claiming up to 2,500. The Illuminati successfully recruited professional classes such as churchmen, academics, doctors, and lawyers. The Illuminati's presence became common knowledge in Munich in the late 1700s. Some famous American Freemasons were Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, Paul Revere, Isaiah Thomas, who performed the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence, and George Washington. Here is an illustration of Freemasons, including George Washington and several other founding fathers of the United States. This is a depiction of President George Washington in the dedication of the U.S. Capitol on September 18, 1793, laying a cornerstone in full Masonic regalia, including apron and gloves. The Masons, previously known as Freemasons, are well known today throughout the world. However, their meetings and proceedings are still somewhat secret in the sense that non-members are not privy to what happens in the lodges. I have many personal connections to Masons today. My father, brother, uncle, great-uncle, and best friend growing up are all members, and I have no idea what is done within the walls of the Masonic lodges. I have witnessed only one ceremony of sorts, and it was at my father's funeral. Several men in suits, Masonic aprons, and white gloves stood up and performed some sort of quick ceremony that looked similar to the Macarena while they recited some brief words. One famous secret society founded in 1832, Skull and Bones at Yale University, was in the spotlight in late 2000 when George W. Bush was elected President of the United States. It was revealed that his father, Herbert W. Bush, also a former president, along with many other powerful people, were allegedly members. However, the names remain secret to my knowledge. Rumors throughout the decades claimed that the secret societies conspired to control world affairs by planting agents in governments and corporations to gain political power and influence, as well as masterminding a new world order. Some things may forever remain a mystery. One may also be inquisitive about covert government agencies. My research found that many countries operate both inside and outside of their borders. A number of tactics are employed through military, politics, and psychological warfare. The CIA, MI6, KGB, FRG, and Mossad were the ones researched. Investigations into the bombings of Pearl Harbor showed there was a need for a unified command structure and a better intelligence system in the United States. On July 16, 1947, Congress passed the National Security Act and subsequently created the Central Intelligence Agency. Cheka was the USSR's first secret police force, founded in 1917 to prevent counter-revolutions to undo the Bolshevik Revolution, and used arrest, torture, and execution of political enemies to carry out their mission. In 1954, a year after Joseph Stalin's death, the KGB was created. It translates in English as Committee for State Security. The KGB was used to thwart any dissent against the communist government, as it controlled all the intelligence and police activities in the USSR. The KGB was also the Soviet Union's international spy organization, with an estimated 700,000 agents at its peak, making it the largest intelligence agency in the world at the time. In 1995, the KGB was reorganized and renamed the Federal Security Service, and has authority to eradicate corruption and crime within the Russian government. Yes, government agencies are sharing information. This is an example of interagency cooperation. On September 5th, 1972, armed members of the Palestinian group called Black September Organization entered the Olympic campus in Munich, Germany, made their way into the Israeli men's team's quarters, killed 2 Israeli athletes, and took 9 as hostages. The Federal Republic of Germany denied requests from Israeli special forces to rescue the hostages, and attempted a rescue operation on their own and failed horribly. All 9 Israeli hostages were killed, along with 4 terrorists, and 1 West German police officer died. The following slide is an example of interagency communication. On September 13th, 1 week after the Munich Olympics massacre, the message below was sent from the BFV, a West German domestic intelligence agency, to a multilateral intelligence sharing liaison called Club de Bern. The attack on the Olympic Village in Munich took place on September 5th, 1972. Before the attack, the perpetrators stayed at the Hotel Salzburg and Hotel Eden Wolf. They called phone lines in Beirut, Tunis, and Tripoli. WZ paid for their stay. Do you have any intelligence on the WZ that you can share with us? The Club de Bern was the first multilateral counter-terrorism intelligence sharing framework among West European intelligence agencies and their strategic partners, including Mossad and the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation. To this day, the Club de Bern remains an extremely secretive liaison, and little is known about its operations. Modern-day examples of international cooperation are the United States assisting Ukraine in the war against Russia. The United States and Israel also shared information before bombing the nuclear sites in Iran. There are many secret but not so secret societies. However, although known, secret societies may indeed have secrets behind closed doors or not revealed to the public. Through my research, I did not see a connection between secret societies and covert government agencies. Each were born out of necessity, one way or the other, in my opinion. I believe there are many organizations in existence today that are obvious, and perhaps some still lurking secretly in the shadows. I would have researched deeper, but I value my freedom, as I didn't want to disappear after turning in this project.